If you're a veteran or you love one who is, there's something you need to know. The VA doesn't just adjust your pay once a year. There are actually 7 different ways your VA compensation can go up, and most veterans only know about one of them, the annual cost of living increase. That means a lot of veterans are leaving money on the table without even realizing it. In the next few minutes, I'm going to walk you through all 7, explain who qualifies for each one, point out the mistakes that cause veterans to miss out, and save the most overlooked one for the end, because it's the one that trips up even longtime VA recipients. Let's start with the one everyone already knows, because it deserves a real explanation, not just a headline. For 2026, VA disability compensation increased by 2.8%. That's the cost of living adjustment, or COLA, and it's tied by law to the same formula the Social Security Administration uses. When Social Security announces its COLA in October, the VA is required to apply that same percentage to disability compensation, pension, and dependency and indemnity compensation. This year's increase took effect December 1st, 2025, and because the VA pays a month behind, veterans first saw the higher amount in their January 2026 payment. According to Disabled American Veterans, a veteran rated 100% with no dependents saw an increase of about $107 a month. A veteran rated 10% saw a smaller bump, around $5 a month. The second way your pay can go up is through a supplemental claim for an increased disability rating. If a service-connected condition has gotten worse since your last rating, you can file for a rating increase, and this is separate and completely unrelated to the annual COLA. Say you were rated 30% for a knee injury a few years ago, and now your mobility has declined and you need a brace or you're seeing a specialist more often. That's grounds to request a higher rating, which means a higher monthly payment. The mistake veterans make here is assuming their rating is locked in for life. It's not. Your rating reflects your condition at the time it was evaluated, and conditions change, especially as veterans age. New medical evidence, updated doctor's notes, or a new C&P exam can shift that percentage upward, sometimes significantly. Adding a dependent to your file. If you get married, have a child, or become the primary caregiver for a dependent parent, your compensation increases, and this is on top of any percentage rating you already have. Veterans rated 30% or higher receive additional payment per dependent, and that additional amount changed with this year's COLA too. This is one of the more common oversights because life events don't automatically update your VA file. If you got married 2 years ago and never notified the VA, you may have been underpaid every single month since. Update your dependents through va.gov or by submitting VA Form 21-686C. It takes minutes and it can mean real money, both going forward and sometimes retroactively. Before we get to the next few, if this is useful to you, go ahead and hit like and consider subscribing because I break down exactly this kind of practical, no fluff guidance on VA and retirement benefits regularly, and it helps this channel reach more veterans who could use it. Number 4 is special monthly compensation, often called SMC, and this is one of the most underused benefits in the entire VA system. SMC is additional compensation paid on top of your regular disability rating for specific severe circumstances. Things like the loss of use of a limb, blindness, being housebound, or needing the aid and attendance of another person for daily activities. Here's the misunderstanding. Many veterans think SMC only applies to catastrophic combat injuries. In reality, it also covers age-related and health-related decline that results in needing regular assistance, which matters a great deal for aging veterans. If you or a veteran you know needs help bathing, dressing, or getting around the house because of a service-connected condition, that's worth investigating because SMC payments can be substantial, sometimes doubling or more what a veteran already receives. 5th is total disability based on individual unemployability, known as TDIU. This one surprises a lot of veterans because it lets you receive compensation at the full 100% rate, even if your combined disability rating is lower, sometimes as low as 60 or 70%, if your service-connected conditions prevent you from holding steady, gainful employment. Picture a veteran rated 70% for a combination of back pain and PTSD who simply can't maintain full-time work because of it. That veteran may qualify for TDIU and get paid as if they were rated 100%. The mistake here is veterans assuming they need a 100% rating to get 100% pay. That's not true, and it's one of the most financially significant benefits veterans overlook, largely because it requires actually filing for it. It isn't offered automatically. Sixth, and this one applies specifically to veterans who also served long enough to retire from the military, concurrent receipt. For years, military retirees who also received VA disability had their retirement pay reduced dollar for dollar by their disability compensation, which meant many veterans weren't actually getting the full value of both benefits. Programs like concurrent retirement and disability pay and combat related special compensation were created to restore that offset for qualifying veterans, meaning some retirees are eligible to receive both their full military retirement and their full VA disability compensation without the reduction. If you're a military retiree receiving VA disability and you're not sure whether you qualify for CRDP or CRSC, this is worth a direct call to the VA or a review with a benefits counselor, because some veterans are still being underpaid due to this offset without realizing there's a program that could fix it. Now, here's the one I save for last, because it's the one that catches even veterans and surviving spouses who've been dealing with the VA system for years. It's dependency and indemnity compensation, or DIC, for surviving spouses and dependent children of veterans who died from a service connected condition or who were rated totally disabled for a certain period before death. DIC also received the 2.8% COLA increase this year, but here's what most people don't realize. DIC has its own separate additional allowances, including a transitional benefit for surviving spouses with dependent children and an aid and attendance allowance if the surviving spouse needs assistance with daily living. Many surviving spouses receive the base DIC amount for years without ever being told about these additional allowances, simply because no one walked them through it. If you're a surviving spouse currently receiving DIC, or you know one, it's worth confirming directly with the VA whether every applicable allowance is actually being included in that monthly payment, because this is one of the most commonly underpaid benefits in the entire system, not due to any fault of the survivor, but simply because the additional pieces aren't automatic the way the COLA is. The COLA increase is the one adjustment that happens automatically every year, and it's the only one most veterans have ever heard of. But rating increases for worsening conditions, adding dependents, special monthly compensation, TDIU, concurrent receipt for military retirees, and the additional DIC allowances for surviving spouses are all separate paths that require you or someone helping you to actually take action. None of these happen on their own. The single most important thing to remember from this video is that your VA compensation is not a fixed number that only moves once a year. It's a system with multiple levers, and most veterans are only pulling one of them. If there's one thing to do today, it's this. Log into va.gov, review your current dependents, your current rating, and your payment history, and if anything looks like it hasn't been updated in a while, reach out to the VA or a accredited veteran service officer who can review your file for free. You served this country, and the benefits you earned deserve to be fully and accurately reflected in what you receive every month. Take care of yourself, take care of each other, and I'll see you in the next one.